Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 1 in a series between NightEnd versus Kaz here on Ohana. Game 1 in the series. This is StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty, as we see NightEnd spawning on the top left-hand side of the map as the red Protoss. Meanwhile, on the bottom right-hand side of the map, we do have Kaz spawning as the blue Terran. And does it seem like my music is a little bit louder than normal? Yeah, let's do that. All right. Or is it just my headset? And oh, my headset's all the way up. All right, so there we go. Yes. Control your headset. Control your volume. All right, so Terran versus Protoss, a matchup that we've all seen countless number of times now. I believe I've cast over 2,000 or 2,500 games total. Some of my games are on some other channels as well, so yeah, I have cast a lot of games, and I still enjoy doing so. I just wish more people enjoyed watching it with me. Now, Protoss versus Terran on Ohana. We'll see what the strategies will be, what these players will be trying to go for, and what openings and counter strategies we'll see. A lot of players have really been opening up into a very heavy macro style of game. Terran players really going for Marines bio with a lot of Vikings and Ghosts. Meanwhile, Protoss players going a lot of gateway units coupled with Colossi and High Templar. And then it becomes a battle of positioning to see who can get the better engagement and who can control their units better. Now, taking a look at Kaz looks like he will be going for that one Rax expend or some variation of that, since he is not establishing any gas at this point. So we should see one barracks, a command center down here, or perhaps even up on the high ground floated off a little bit later, and then a bunker here on the ramp. Taking a look over here by NightEnd. Oh, Adabisi. Taking a look over here by NightEnd. NightEnd is going to be going into a gateway with a pylon here. Pretty standard build. We are going to see that cybernetics core, and this is really where the variations come in. Variations come in from a Protoss after they get that cybernetics core in order to get that warp gate tech. Warp gate tech so important that they rarely ever go for any sort of gasless expand. Now, a Marine will be able to hold the ramp here for just a little while, and because of the walking distance, that Zealot will not be able to get down any true harassment. Now, Kaz should either be going into double refineries here, or double barracks, or a variation of the two, as we now see a proxy get in your face engineering bay on the other side of the map. Engineering bay, one of the perfect buildings to dual block, for a number of reasons. One, it is relatively inexpensive. A second reason is that it has a lot of hit points for its cost. So you're going to see that this engineering bay, this Zealot's going to be slashing away at it. Kaz's engineering bay just pretty much going to be sitting there until it does go down to about 50 hit points, and then most likely will be cancelled. Now, let's take a look over at what NightEnd's going to do. NightEnd now coming over with a Stalker as well. Pretty standard trifecta coming in from Protoss. One Zealot, one Stalker, one Sentry, and there's the cancellation right as the probe will be warping in that Nexus. We can see that this is going to be a macro game, and Kaz most likely suspects that this will be a macro game, as we are going into that double barracks, double refinery build. Now, Kaz is really going to have to live and work off of Marines and Marines alone for quite some time. Marines, the bread and butter unit of the Terran infantry or the Terran army, because they are such high DPS units that attack ground and air. Very effective. Only weakness is their AoE vulnerability, as a Stalker now going to perhaps try to walk up here. This is not going to really work out well for that Stalker. The Stalker, by the time it even gets over here, will be relatively low on hit points, and then the Marines can pop out and then kind of trap this Stalker down here. Stalker's just going to regenerate those shields. We are seeing a transition now into NightEnd, going into more production buildings with a robotics facility and 2 gateways. I like the timing on this. He's making sure that he's spending his resources. Early portions of the game, you really want to make sure that you spend your resources in a smart manner where you don't have more production buildings than you need, but then again, you aren't floating a large amount of minerals. one of those things that a lot of Protoss players and a lot of professional players overall can close their eyes and almost imagine the first 10 to 15 minutes of a game based upon all the timings. Kaz is running off of 2 bases right now, about to go into a 3rd command center. I don't believe he'll be lifting this off for a little bit of time. Just going to be training up and rallying SCVs here. You can see, if you take a look at the production tab or the unit tab, it is 33 SCVs versus 37 probes. A slight advantage in NightEnd and total overall worker count, but Kaz does have those mules. Alright, so a lot of Marines, 1 Marine simply on patrol down here, a little bit of an engagement. This Marine knows that he has a whole platoon of Marines and Marauders right behind them. The Marauders do not yet have concussive shell, as we are still sitting in a very, very long macro-centric game. No one really moving out or engaging at this moment. Alright, the 3rd orbital command is finally up and operational. A Zealot pretty much sitting outside the door holding a Xel'Naga tower decides to go home, knowing that there's really not much to be done there. And now they're going to be working together to take down these destructible rocks. The Stalker now decides to hold the Xel'Naga tower, and we'll see whether or not Kaz, when he's going to be lifting up this orbital command and then landing it here at his 3rd base. So far, both of the players seem to have an agreement with each other. I'm not going to engage you, you're not going to engage me, and everyone is still going to be happy. Factory now going into a starport. Our factory will take the place of that starport. They'll do a little bit of a swap there to double train up Medivacs and Vikings. Templar Archives about to be completed, so Kaz is going to be a bit behind in terms of the proper counter unit. He's not going to be able to mass up those ghosts nearly as quickly as he would like, and I like the timing on this from Kaz. Kaz knows that he needs this 3rd base not merely for the minerals, but primarily for the gas. I assume that he is going to be throwing down additional tech labs, perhaps another one here, to start triple training ghosts. He is going to need those ghosts for those EMP shockwaves in order to take down those Templars before those Templars take him down. Kaz now sitting on about a 20 supply advantage. Both players just getting a feel for the map, doing a little bit more of a keep honest check here. You can see that the Marines and the Marauders are backing away. The stim packs have been completed. Perhaps 1 scanner sweep could be utilized in order to shoot down that observer. Being able to keep track of your opponent's army in secret, always very important and nice, as the units are now finally moving around. Here we go. We are getting up that that 3rd base gas, that 4th gas, as the factory now lifts overhead, and Kaz does spot this base currently being established. More and more Zealots are being added, and this is not a good time for Kaz to engage. Kaz is going to find that even though he does have a larger army at this point, there's simply not enough Marines to really deal with the number of Zealots and also the number of High Templars. 2 High Templars coupled with 3 sentries, and those sentries are going to be able to force field. But what is this? A beautiful now walk around or fly around here. Photon cannon now trying to be warped in, but it will not come down in time, as the Zealots are now making their way in. Marauders and the Marines trying to engage here. Are we going to get a very nice pickup? Yes, we are, as the photon cannons will be placed down. Medivacs have to be very careful. They are getting dangerously close to their life amount, meaning 1 feedback and 1 bad flyby with High Templars on the ground does mean a loss of over 500 resources in just a matter, or 600 resources in just a matter of seconds. High Templars, Zealots, Sentries, Stalkers, Immortals on the move now. Still no extended thermal lance range or no Colossi yet, as we see a Psystorm does kind of separate all these Marines. Marauders and Marines now making their way in here. Photon cannons doing a little bit of fight back there, as the Medivacs now are pulling away once more. No observers up here on the high ground to intercept those Medivacs, as Kaz is just going to be doing rinse and repeat. You can see 4 Medivacs, 1 Zealot caught without the rest of his friends. And now NightEnd being forced to fight an army from two places at once. And I love this play by Kaz, as Kaz now going after those High Templars. One High Templar down. Wow, what a huge loss there. That High Templar could have gotten off a Psystorm and perhaps had a sentry cast a force field. That force field now going to prevent those units from coming down. But still, Kaz is doing a great job just controlling the tempo and the pace of this game, as Kaz now looks to establish up his fourth base, most likely being a planetary fortress. Zealot now looking to back away. There are still a fair number of Marauders and Marines here up at the fourth base location for NightEnd. One Zealot holding on here. Extended Thermal Lance range, Robotics Bay, Colossi will be coming in shortly, but will it be too little, too late? As the ghost timing from Marines and Marauders, ghost timing plus Marines and Marauders may be able to just overwhelm what NightEnd is currently running off of. Let's take a look at the unit count. 78 Harvesters versus 72 Army compositions, very much in favor of Kaz at this point. NightEnd very low, but what does he have in production? Not very much either. So this is rather interesting, as Kaz has a significantly larger army, even though he's only about 33 supply ahead in terms of overall supply count. All right, one Zealot walking straight in, EMP Shockwave and a snipe, beautifully done, as we could perhaps see some Psystorm come in. There's a force field, and I've never seen such a bad force field as that one right there. All right, High Templar, is he going to be able to do anything? No, he is not. And Kaz simply just going to walk forward, as one Psystorm does get landed, but this is still no good. What is this? Multiple Psystorms now coming in. Are they going to be able to retreat? That is the question. Zealots, Sentries are not casting those force fields to prevent any sort of retreat. And here we go again. A couple High Templar in the back. Are we going to see some more Psystorm coming in? Marines are getting split apart as some no EMP Shockwaves come in. And what is going down next? All those Marines and Marauders are trying to regroup with the rest of their units. Zealots are charging straight into those Marauders here, as a Colossus should be able to join in on those attacks. Psystorm for a little bit of more zoning control there. The Marines and Marauders pretty much forced to walk around, as one Zealot will get taken down. There it goes. And now feedback on two very high hit point or high energy medevacs. Very nicely played there. And now we are going to be going, oh, what is this? NightEnd now coming in with Stalkers. Stalkers not a good choice here. Immortals and Colossi. Colossi with extended thermal lance range about to be completed, and he may be able to pressure. I like the fact that NightEnd is rebuilding this base over here on the top right after he lost it, knowing that he needs to get it. And now here we go. Archons, Vikings, EMP Shockwaves. One very low, I guess, max hit point Archon. Low shield Archon. The worst combination possible. Zealots now still reinforcing this base off over here is operational. And I do not know. Kaz still does not know about this base, as the probes are finally getting transferred over. Kaz with one factory here may think that he is ahead on bases when he is in fact even. Soon will be ahead though, as he is lifting off a new base there. Marines and Marauders now engaging. Colossi in position for Colossi. Psystorm, where is it? Archon's now pushing in, and so much damage being had. Both sides dealing and taking a beating, but who is going to come out ahead? Ghost still left alive. One Viking is left, and that is it. One Colossus, one Archon, two Stalkers are left behind here. And if a round of units are going to be warped in here at the fourth base, this is the perfect opportunity for NightEnd to engage here at the fourth base of Kaz. Kaz now calling in a whole bunch of mules. This may be his undoing if this base does fall before those mules are really able to get a decent number of resources, but it looks like NightEnd is not choosing to engage, perhaps waiting for two additional Colossi that are being chrono boosted at this very moment. Income tab, still slightly higher for Kaz. Army tab is starting to even out. NightEnd in a better position than he was just moments ago. More Colossi coming in. I'm not sure what that was. I believe that was an SCV, as a Zealot now looking to walk into a group of units here. All right, this is not going to be good. There is already 5 Vikings in the air. Units are retreating. There are a lot of stalkers. Still no blink yet. And here we go. The Vikings are going to be in trouble. They're going to get picked off. They're going to try to finally engage. It looks like ghosts are just falling left and right. And there's not going to be enough Vikings, as the 2 Colossi with extended thermal lance range should be able to clean up some of this. But Kaz had the larger numbers to begin with and is still holding out. Army compositions, 2,800, 3,100 versus 4,400. Kaz still very much in the lead. But it really feels at any moment NightEnd could come back and do some serious damage. All right, here we go. Why are they attacking the missile turret? No real reason for that. Zealots now going up against this, going after some SCVs. It looks like SCVs are going to get taken down. And the Zealots just taking a beating. What are they doing? Mules now being mined away over here. I thought there was an orbital command. Perhaps that was taken down earlier. Kaz now with multiple orbital commands here should be able to strip mine this location. And with this many mules, his income should simply be through the roof at this point. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, about 3,000 resources a minute. And with that much production behind him, as long as he does not walk into a Psystorm and Colossi, he should be fine. Catching units in transit would be the worst possible thing now, as the units are coming over. Okay, what's going to be happening here? Zealot, looks like the planetary fortress does get taken down. Stalkers are in position. There's a Psystorm, and now Kaz is actually in a bad position here. Where is he going to reinforce? Are the units going to try to engage? There's some EMPs, but the Marauders and the Marines are not have a good concave at all. Archons now pushing forward. High Templars could perhaps get off some Psystorms if they were able to get there. No Psystorm. There we go, finally. But it may be too little, too late. Kaz taking a lot of damage here. Who's coming out on top? Stalkers. Vikings could go back onto the ground here in just a moment. And I think that will be it. All the Vikings here shutting down the Colossi. And oh, what is this? A Psystorm catching this beautifully. And wow, this could be a turnaround here, as the Medivacs are forced to retreat. And the Zealots were able to get straight up underneath. Kaz saving his units in a beautiful, beautiful fashion. And now Kaz going into production, knowing that he needs to be able to rebuild his army very, very quickly. We are now running on 4 bases to 4. Let's take a look at the total losses. NightEnd has lost more. Army composition, NightEnd is behind at this point, so everything is going in favor of Kaz. Kaz is currently 50 supply ahead. And let's take a look at the overall army. Army supply 78 versus 111. And that still does not bode well for NightEnd. Alright. It looks like Zealots are going to be regrouping here. The Zealots are almost fully upgraded, but the Marauders and the Marines aren't shabby either. There is some Psystorm, and a lot of Marauders just taking a lot more damage than they care to, as they are going to get repaired here in just a moment. Zealot now going after a factory. The factory may end up starting to burn to a crisp. Yes, there it goes, finally burning, as the Zealots are now cleaning up here. Kaz perhaps going to shut down this base here at the 3 o'clock position. And now this is getting interesting. NightEnd, even though he is about 30 or 20 supply behind, if he can retreat here without really losing anything, that would be great news for him. As there you are, Psystorm. Wow, a whole bunch of Vikings taken down. Are we going to get some feedback? Yeah, there you go, as the Ghosts are currently cloaked. There's some EMP, and that does not look well at all. Zealots now trying to perhaps take down more units, and mass cloaked Ghosts, or 5 or 6 close Ghosts, causing problems, as now NightEnd is on the run, and in a Protoss versus Terran, whoever's running is losing, especially if they're taking damage in the process of running. Alright, we have 2-3 Colossi now in. High Templar still being added here. High Templar looking to perhaps get off some Psystorms. Zealots are now looking to push in. Are those Ghosts going to be able to get away? That is the question. Ghosts are getting absolutely torn up here. There goes one Ghost. There goes another. Or there goes another unit there, as the units are backing off. And NightEnd now only 10 supply behind. We are currently at, I believe, 2 operational bases versus 2 operational bases. Too many probes there sitting at the 12 o'clock position. Perhaps some should get transferred over here, but then again, this location doesn't look all too good either. Kaz getting some units in transit once more. That's the best way to take down units, as we could perhaps see a Psystorm here. Oh, there is a snipe. Ghost now coming in, and the Ghosts are going to be able to snipe this down again. No observer in this group, and we do see a Psystorm though, as the Ghosts are now looking to back again. Zealots are now looking to see where they can push. Where is this going to happen? EMP Shockwave. NightEnd without an observer, surprisingly. And Kaz looks like he's going to clean up this base and perhaps take the game now, as he is getting a 60 supply advantage over his opponent. Colossi, 5 Colossi, 141 supply. Unless NightEnd is able to just macro up a huge army and then engage with superior forces, since Kaz still has so many workers, that may be the end of it. Zealots now trying to engage. Are we going to perhaps see some Psystorms? Vikings now making their way in. No, I do not believe a Colossus was taken down, and we should be seeing an engagement here in just a moment. All right. Ghosts are looking ready to engage. New Nexus has been plopped down here at the 3 o'clock position. It looks like Kaz is already running up on 2 full bases pretty much, or will be full bases, and now still adding to level 3 weapons upgrades for his anti-Colossus Vikings. Alright, Vikings now trying to engage. Psystorm is cast. NightEnd are gonna take down this planetary fortress. There it goes again, as the units are trying to engage still, and one Viking looking to finish off more and more of these units. Vikings still charging in, not that many Stalkers. Marauders and Marines, and let's look at this. This is going to be a great follow-up, as Kaz is going to take this game. 65 supply to 141 with Kaz on the run. Kaz now down to 2 Colossi. And any chances that NightEnd had has now been hamstrung, as he will be losing his last Colossus here on Ohana. There it goes. Nothing really to deal with a massive bio and Ghost on the field, as the Colossi have been taken down, and there is the GG. Well played. NightEnd losing game 1 in this series to Empire's Kaz. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1.